Good morning. This is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. We're at 4272 Southwest Highgate Terrace here in Aloha, located on the right side of the home. That's as you face the house from the street, just around the corner from the front door. We got a 3-inch ABS clean out. We're going to check the overall condition, serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Water's running, and we are going to zero out. That about first 10 feet there, when the line's all drained out, I won't be surprised if there's like a 1/16 of an inch of standing water, something really, really minor. My camera looks like it just barely dips under the water line there. But that is not the kind of bellies we're looking for. Just, I'll notate it, but 32nd of an inch, 1/16 of an inch standing water is not the kind of stuff we're hammering down on. I'm actually amazed when I first walked up to this and saw how the house was situated. The clean out and sewer line kind of come out below grade, not by a ton, but for whatever reason, after 13 years of doing this, I honestly can't really give you a good answer why. That arrangement of a line coming out below grade, even if the main lateral is 30 feet deep and you've got 10 times the room to grade the line, you often end up with some standing water, and usually it's more significant than what you've got here. What you have here is incredibly minor, if anything at all. So I'm glad it's as minor as it is. Just transitioned there over to 4-inch 3034, and some spider's been having a heyday in here. These are some big old cobwebs. This house has been sitting vacant for a minute, it would appear. They like to build their webs right above the water line. These ones are getting really close to it though. Alright, some more standing water here way the heck out from the house. Again, standing water at that distance has zero bearing on functionality. If you developed a blockage at 70 feet from your house like that in a belly that size right there, you're putting some wild and crazy stuff down your sewer line. It would take rolls of paper towels to ever get that thing to act up there. So we're going to go locate really quick here. We are at the main lateral at 70 feet. Thus far, nice looking sewer line. It's got a couple imperfections in it, and that's all they are. They're just minor visual blemishes. Alright, located the camera head successfully. Line terminates on Southwest Highgate Terrace, where I picked that locate up there. As you stand in the street facing the house, the line ends up crossing into the street about where the middle of the driveway is. The line runs at a little bit of an angle there, but it's it gives you somewhat of an idea. And then this is the standing water all drained out. It's extremely minor. And there's still a little bit of water trickle into the line, but the belly here starts around 67 feet and extends to about 70 feet. And at its worst point, this is with still a little bit of water trickle into the line. That water line's barely hitting the bottom of my camera lens. It's about a 1/4 inch of standing water. And just for reference, after 13 years and about 25,000 sewer scopes, I don't even consider repairs on bellies, especially in plastic pipe, until you have at least an inch of standing water for a minimum of 5 feet, and most of those I don't even recommend fixes on. In plastic sewer lines, the only time bellies are actually detrimental to flow under proper usage scenarios is when the belly is very close proximity to the house and or underneath it. The reality is most of these bellies and plastic sewer lines, if you can get a belly to act up with on these smooth plastic pipe walls like this, it's usually under pretty heavily abusive scenarios where on a consistent basis you've got wipes, paper towels, cooking oil, grease, stuff like that going down the sewer line. So this is a very clean sewer line. This is how I would expect a line to look. These folks have treated this thing nicely. And all the stringy things at the top of the pipe thus far, none of these are root intrusions, are all just a bunch of cobwebs. And we'll get back in here, take a look at that spot with a little bit of standing water. It's stretched out to about the first 10 feet. Anyway, this is a really nice example of how to treat your line. The main thing that keeps a line like this clean is number one thing is not putting cooking oil and grease down your line. That'll gunk your pipe up more than anything you can do to your sewer line. And it's responsible for more blockages than about anything out there. It's what'll turn a very plastic sewer lines, not that you should abuse your sewer line, but they allow for quite a bit of it because of those nice smooth pipe walls. Grease buildup gunks your pipes up and turns them into a sticky mess, and it's much more likely you're going to develop a blockage when you have that kind of scenario. So anyway, that belly there looks like it starts right after the turn. It runs from about 1 foot to about 10 feet. At its worst point there, you might have 1/4 of an inch. It's somewhere between a 1/16 and 1/4. Again, very, very minor. The only thing you'll see hanging up in a belly like that on a consistent basis is if you're putting a pretty sizable amount of cooking oil and grease down the line. And the rule of thumb, if you're new to home ownership, kind of rule of thumb I tell most people to live by, if you have enough grease or oil on your pans, when the pans are warm or hot anyway, if you were to turn the pan sideways and there's enough oil or grease on there to run off the pan in beads or worse, it's at that point you want to mitigate. You want to, let the pan cool down, wipe it out with a paper towel, pour the grease into a jar. You just don't want it going down the line. A thin little coating of PAM spray, no big deal. Hot water and soap handles that. Big thing is keep your water running hot when you do your dishes, and keep it running hot for about a minute after you're done washing them. It helps to ensure that any grease or oil that does get down the line remains melted and emulsified until it gets either to the main or just a good distance from your house. But that's the big thing, and that's what this household is doing. This is a very, very clean sewer line relative to most. Anyway, good flow to the main lateral connection. Both the bellies there are far, far too minor, in my opinion, to require repairs. Zero buildup. I couldn't even recommend cleaning on this thing, and those are not the kind of bellies I want anyone even concerned about. Realistically, I don't see much in the way of blockages and buildup and whatnot under proper usage scenarios until you get bellies that have inches of standing water in them for many, many feet. So anyway, sewer line is functioning properly at this time. Nice looking line there.